Okay, this is store 2654, video notes for details for Mr. Winter's home. Things we need to look at in the room. First of all, these cabinets are built-in place cabinets. They have a paneled fur down up above them, but inside of the cabinet, you can actually see that there's paneling inside the cabinet. So these cabinets go all the way back to the paneling that's actually painted here on the wall. Now the customer is actually talking about tearing all that out himself and getting it all the way back, painting the walls, finishing everything to a complete room before we come to install the cabinets, which is great. A couple things to show you on the floor. You see this spot here where the floor has been filled in. This floor is approximately 1.5 inches thick from the original floor. If you look at the toe kicks down here, all of these toe kick areas under here are only about 2¼ inches tall. So that tells me the floor has been built up several times. That also show you right here where the window is, that is only a 4-inch backsplash behind that window. So when we build these cabinets up, they're going to build up almost 2 inches from where they're at now. Right now, these cabinets to the floor, the height of the countertop to the floor is 34 inches. So normal is 36. So we are definitely coming up. They have a new dishwasher and they can't even get it to fit in because of the dishwasher being built in place with the flooring in front of it. So new dishwasher, of course, when we go to put the new ones in, but overall, they're not going to be able to have a backsplash on the new countertops. The window is going to be too low. Now, being said, we come over here and work on the stove wall. Measurement I took was all the way to the door trim, the trim of the door here. But if you look, there's actually a set of switches behind the door. Those switches are 7 inches or so margin from that door trim. So if you stick with the 9-inch cabinet, the 9-inch cabinet will actually cover the space in the floor. Over here on the other side, this is 51 inches to the edge of this stove side. So a BLB 4851 pulled to 51 is probably the size of the corner cabinet, blind corner cabinet we're going to need. If we made that a BLB 3639 pulled to 39, the door opening would only be about 9 inches. Right now, the corner opening that they have is around 15 to 18 inches. So much smaller corner access than they are used to. Make sure we change that to a BLB 4851 to make sure that we're long enough to make that pull. Likewise, up here on the top, they've got a corner cabinet set now. If you look, the corner cabinet is a blind upper here. Now, in your design, you've actually got an angle corner cabinet. That's no problem. Just make sure the customer knows that they're using this now for their appliances, that it's going to have the angle across the front there. So it'll work just fine. It's just that it's a little different than what they have now as far as the corner of the room. Microwave now is actually too high. It's up above, probably from the old range hood. We're looking at the upper cabinets on this being a 36-inch upper cabinet. Your top alignment would be at 90 inches from the floor. The ceiling height in this room average is 94.5 to 95 inches tall. So we must go down from 39-inch upper cabinets to a smaller upper to make sure that we can have room for moldings. Now the original molding that's here, if you look, this is a case molding that's 4¼ inches tall. This is another cove molding that's about 1 7/8, 2 inches tall, about 2¼ on the face. So if we use either one of those type of moldings around the room, we'll have to have at least 3 inches of space above the cabinets. If you hang a 39-inch upper cabinet, you're only going to have about 2 inches of space above it. So we must go to a 36-inch upper, a top alignment of 90 inches. Come around here, you've actually got an opening above the window. There is a light up in there that is concealed by a valance. That is all coming out and then will be changed. Talk to the customer about 0 clearance. If you look right there, that is all the way up to the molding of the window. 0 margin here as well, all the way up to the molding of the window. If that's the case, we need to make sure that we order fillers to go in here between these cabinets to where we can margin that out the same as it was before. Now, very important on the base, over here on the left, you've got your stove at 51, you've got your dishwasher in there. There is just enough room when the dishwasher comes down to clear the stove. See that? So when we're talking about moving, if we move the stove to one side, the dishwasher will have to move closer to the sink, or if we leave it at 51, it'll work just fine. Then you have the sink. If you take a look, the sink base on this is only a 30-inch sink base, 33-inch sink, so it's actually much smaller. We can still do a sink base 30 on this layout if we actually saddle cut the sides and bring that in. Customers talking about doing an undermount sink on this layout. So an undermount sink is only a 31 flange, 30-inch bowl. So that would work if we wanted to do a smaller sink base. Then we also have, to the right of it, drawers. We have other drawers in the island, and we have an open shelf section here on the end of the run. Now come around on the back of the cabinets. There's actually the little countertop overhang and a drawer section there with a door. So I've talked to the customer about a reverse based cabinet where the corner is actually turned reverse out and having the same drawer space instead of doing a lazy Susan in the corner. Here we have 4 drawers, 5, 6 drawers, 7 drawers, and then over here on this side that would be 8 drawers. So when we look at the plan, there's only 4 drawers in your plan. Also, your plan has got this length of the bar at 72 inches, where the actual bar is 60 inches now. So that comes out into the room quite a ways from where it's at right now. That needs to be something discussed with the customer about whether or not we want to keep that depth. At 60 is where it's at now. Last thing to talk about on this side of the room, the valves underneath the sink are flat on the bottom of the floor. If we raise all these cabinets by 2 inches, the valves will be too low. All the valves, when the tear out is done, need to be extended 10 to 12 inches from where they're at, taller. And then we'll actually cut them off and put them where we need in the cabinet when we go to put the cabinet on. But they're way too low right now. Also, don't put any tree branches or any kind of extra valves for the dishwasher. We want new construction stub outs for the actual valves on the water lines. Last thing to talk about is this side of the room. When we have in the drawing is 33 inches of wall, there's actually 33 and a half. The room behind the door trim is 14 and a half inches. So I was suggesting to the customer that we actually do a UT 30 14. We do the reduced depth on it to 14 from 24 and add a 3.5 inch filler to the left of it before we do the 24 inch depth pantry to the right of it. You can see there's about a 3-inch jog in the wall there where the wall jogs back in place, and then the wall comes across to this length here at 64 3/4 inches. Now if you look, there's actually a switch here at the end of that run, and that is an outside corner. See that right there? It's an outside corner wall. So at that, there's 4 inches of space from the end of the wall to the edge of that switch. We've talked to the customer about putting a 3-inch REP here on the right, and then the customer is talking about taking the switch out and putting it in the end of the panel. Not Lowe's, but the customer will move that after we're done. That'll complete the built-in look for his refrigerator section. I've got notes on all of this on the drawings, especially the pantry area here where we're talking about doing some changes. If you have any questions at all, feel free to give me a call at 423-650-1051. Have a good day.